12,623. That was the number of country schools in Iowa in 1901 according to the Iowa State Education Association. The country school, also called a one-room school, a rural school, or a district school, is a valuable part of American history, especially in Iowa. It is very likely that one of your relatives attended a country schoolhouse for at least part of their education. In 1997, there were 2,800 rural schools still standing in Iowa. There is at least one country school museum in every county in Iowa except for Benton County, so I'm sure that there is one near you. I encourage you to visit one. I visited a country school museum on a few occasions at my county fair. In the next few minutes, I will start to explain to you what a rural school was and how important they were to country children. What was a country school? An explanation of a rural school can be divided into 2 points, the first being the building and the second being the class and the teacher. We will start with the building. Take a trip with me to a country schoolhouse. Imagine that it is the first day of school. If you are fortunate, you get a ride in a wagon, but if not, you might be walking a mile or more just to get to school. When you get there, the building is either just a whitewashed wooden rectangle, a brick building, or a log cabin. You join a small group of kids for a game until the teacher rings the bell. When she does, you line up and file inside. The furnishings inside of the schoolhouse are comprised of a few desks, a bookshelf, a pot-bellied stove, and the teacher's desk. On the front wall are paintings of both George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, a blackboard, and a map of the United States. Have you gathered a picture in your head yet of what a country school looks like? Now that you have that picture in your head, transition your view with me from the school building to the people inside of the school. The second way to explain the common school would be to observe the class and the teacher. A class was made up of 2 to 40 kids of different ages and academic levels, with one teacher for them all. A grade wasn't always completed in a year. A child wouldn't go on to the next level until they had finished the last one. In the spring and the fall, the class might be mostly made up of girls due to the boys being in the fields, planting or harvesting with their fathers. According to the Iowa Public Television website, before the Civil War, most of the teachers were male, while during the Civil War, because of the shortage of men, women started filling the teaching positions. After 1952, all teachers were required by state law to have had at least 2 years of college education. Before that, there were no state requirements, although the different districts probably had their own requirements. Now that you have an idea of what a rural schoolhouse was, let's move on to why they were so important. District schools were important to the community, and elementary schools and high schools were few and far in between in Iowa in the 1800s and 1900s. The country school was a gathering place for community events such as spelling bees, Christmas programs, and elections. Most of the kids who attended the one-room schools had farmers for parents and would either be farmers, farmer wives, or shopkeepers when they grew up. All of these occupations required some knowledge of education. Laura Ingalls Wilder, the famous author, said in her book, Little House on the Ozarks, "The object of education is to make folks fit to live." And Abraham Lincoln, the United States 16th president, said that everyone may receive at least a moderate education seems to be an object of vital importance. The main subjects taught were reading, writing, arithmetic, and history. Reading and writing were important for legal documents and bills of sale. Arithmetic was needed for money matters, inventory, and cooking, and history inspired patriotism for their country. Many people have expressed their love for the one-room school or schools that they attended as children, through poems and short stories. The country schoolhouse has also been the setting for many fictional novels and series. I hope that now you have a better understanding of what a country school was, along with their importance to country kids. We have talked about the building, class, teacher, and uses of the subjects taught. Thank you for joining me on a trip to a country school.